Tonight, windy weather pummels the Spencer Gulf. Serious warnings remain in place for tonight, and a centre aimed at keeping children safe back up and running.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. Spencer Gulf residents are being urged to batten down the hatches with strong wind warnings in place for much of South Australia. The SES has had all hands on deck and is urging people to be prepared for the worst.
It may have been a sunny, calm morning, but then the wind hit much of the Spencer Gulf. State Emergency Service crews are preparing for a long night ahead with strong wind warnings for the Spencer Gulf and Gulf of St Vincent.
Our volunteers are very well prepared. We've had the weather warnings out from the Bureau since yesterday, and we've got some rostering in place, so we've got people available day and night through until late tonight.
Strong northwesterly winds are expected to further hit parts of the Eyre Peninsula, with the Bureau of Meteorology issuing warnings.
North of Cleve during the afternoon and early evening, so we do have the severe weather warning out for that region.
Police are urging Cleve motorists to drive carefully with a dust storm sweeping through the area. Across the region, the SES is warning people to lock up outdoor items.
Don't park your car under trees and secure loose objects in your yards. So things like trampolines are very good at catching the wind and flying into the neighbour's place.
Winds are expected to be easing overnight, but residents are warned to still rug up with possible showers tomorrow and a cold trough moving through to the weekend.
See some pretty significant winds around today, starting to ease a bit overnight, but certainly we are expecting some shower activity.
York Mid-North SES says it's anticipating more severe weather to come with a slow start to the season.
The season really hasn't kicked in as yet in terms of being severe weather events. We've had a couple of minor events, but nothing that's caused us any great deal of trouble.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A piece of equipment at a Port Lincoln playground set to be removed next week will stay for now while the council determines whether it poses a risk to the community. The council had previously advised the decommissioned train engine did pose unacceptable safety risks and would have to be removed next week.
I've had a councillor advise me today that he's going to submit a motion that would have a look at the risk that we're involved with here, whether it can be mitigated in different ways other than removal.
The train has been part of the playground since 1983 and if it is removed will be sent to a restoration group in Farina. The New South Wales Government has today confirmed a number of coronavirus restrictions have been eased across the state, including Broken Hill. Indoor venues such as pubs and restaurants now have no limit on patrons, providing they remain seated and stick to 1 person per 4 square metres. Households can now also have up to 20 visitors at one time. A full list can be found on the New South Wales Government's website. Individuals who don't comply with the new rules could face up to 6 months in prison or a fine of up to $11,000. Children at Gowie SA have spent the day at Wylers Road Safety Centre, excited to be back on the bikes and having fun. The centre, closed over the last few months because of COVID-19, is now open to the public with brand new facilities.
Out in the sun with smiles from ear to ear. These young children, the first to be back out on the road footpaths at Wylers Road Safety Centre.
Most children, once they get out in the open, they prefer to go wild and have good times, and it looks like these children really are enjoying themselves.
I love riding my bike.
Using its closure time wisely, the centre has spent the last few months upgrading the bathroom facilities with new sinks and a fresh coat of paint. The $3,500 renovation adding to the exterior roadwork upgrades that were completed at the start of the year.
We've been in isolation, we haven't done much work on the track inside. We've upgraded our toilet facilities, so now we have a handicap toilet, a male toilet and a female toilet.
The centre adhering to new strict COVID-19 measures, cleaning the helmets and all the bike handles after every use.
This is the first group we've had since March, so we're still very wary of what we need to do to try and stay safe with this coronavirus.
The children happy to be back, learning road safety skills and how to ride a bike.
I'm having the best day ever.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Whyalla Stewart man has been caught speeding and drink driving with a blood alcohol level almost 3 times the legal limit. Patrol spotted a vehicle travelling 74 kilometres in a 50 zone down McRitchie Crescent yesterday afternoon. The 38-year-old driver also returned a positive blood alcohol reading of 0.132. He was issued a fine and immediate 6-month loss of licence and will appear in court at a later date. Still to come tonight, Broken Hill slowly on the up again with more council facilities reopening and reconciliation art in Whyalla almost complete thanks to community support. Welcome back. Broken Hill City Council has opened 2 more of its buildings this week, its admin centre and the local art gallery. It isn't a normal reopening though, with a number of new coronavirus guidelines and systems in place.
A popular tourist attraction and the place to go for city services. Council trying to get back to normal operations.
From a staffing perspective, we are very, very happy with the fact that we've been able to reopen and provide those face-to-face services back to the community.
The admin building and galleries reopening are the latest in a number of council-run facilities reopening over the past month. The Visitor Information Centre, the library and the Living Desert have all recently started back up. All that's left, the Albert Kirsten Geocentre, the city's mineral museum, which is expected to reopen next week.
For us, it was always about reopening properly and reopening once and not having to, put anyone at risk. So, we've wanted to do that in a very systematic and staggered way.
At the gallery, only 10 visitors are allowed in across 1-hour sessions, and those coming in are encouraged to book through an online ticket system.
We've got a protective screen on the front counter, there's hand sanitiser, the gallery's been rearranged, there's stickers on the floor, the public toilets have been changed.
2 exhibitions have been curated from the gallery's 2,000 item collection to give tourists and locals something new to see. One show rather fittingly about self-isolation.
They're really fantastic. So Out and Back In is looking at domestic scenes, what happens around the home, inside and outside the home.
Both the admin building and gallery will open from 10 to 3 on weekdays. Patrick Ryanke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The reconciliation mural at Whyalla's Civic Park is now complete, with a colourful snake design now running along the footpath. The artwork features different community groups within the city, representing diversity and locals coming together.
A lifelong mural representing small elements of the Whyalla community. This colourful piece, a true representation of local spirit.
It started as a reconciliation mural because we wanted to do something for Reconciliation Week.
And this project is an amazing collaboration from people in our community, something for people to enjoy for years to come.
What started as black squares in the shape of a long snake on the footpath almost a month ago has now been turned into something much more meaningful.
We have everything from Aboriginal art to some healthy messages for not smoking. We have patterns, we have a football panel.
A range of community members and clubs coming together, adding a picture design to each square.
Staff from Nunyara Health Centre, we've had students from Clontarf, we've had general members of the public.
We left a bucket of chalk out here and we were inviting locals to come along and they could just draw whatever they wanted in chalk, and we got a few really good ones that we ended up actually kind of making permanent by painting over and replicating it really well.
Whyalla City Council encouraging members of the public to come down to the park and see the new 100-metre long mural.
This mural is here for all of the residents of Whyalla. Please come on down, have a look. There are a couple of panels actually still blank.
The perfect opportunity to add your own special touch. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Samak Mining has increased its trucking activity in Whyalla this week, transporting materials to support projects in the South Middleback Ranges. 6 trucks are travelling down Iron Knob Road, Arthur Glennie Drive, Playford Avenue and the Lincoln Highway, operating in a day shift circuit. Road users are asked to use extra caution when travelling along those roads. The trucks will also be running for half a day this Saturday with no operations on Sunday. Anyone with queries is asked to contact the company. Business Port Augusta says it's disappointed in the response from the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission regarding concerns they'd raised over high petrol prices in the city. In a letter in reply, the ACCC says high fuel prices are not illegal and that it's been pressuring retailers to pass on price decreases.
High fuel prices are not illegal, that's fine, but the ACCC is there for fair competition. So as far as I'm concerned, that's not fair competition. That's taking advantage of the consumer.
Petrol prices in Port Augusta and in Whyalla were up to 30 cents dearer than surrounding areas in April, sparking the inquiry. Stay with us after the break. We take a look at the state of golf in Broken Hill, and patrons gear up to head trackside this weekend for the Port Augusta Cup. Hello again. Youth Port Pirie is working towards bringing a mental health first aid course to the town. Facilitator Leo Taylor is calling on the community to get on board, describing the initiative as life-changing.
Tackling a tough issue head-on, this Port Pirie local is preparing to bring a mental health course to the region, the idea sparked by the knowledge many regional residents are experiencing trying times.
Research within Australia and internationally to become a nationally accredited course.
A survey conducted by Youth Port Pirie has revealed a gap for mental health services in the region.
The issue of mental health was underlined as a factor that really needs to improve in the community.
They've set a goal of 100 people to complete the course. Organisers say it's not just individuals who will benefit, but also workplaces.
With mental health first aid, you can also become a workplace mental health first aider that works well within your workplace to really make people aware of the support.
But the course won't come cheap. Youth Port Pirie is rallying for the community's support and applying for grants to assist with its facilitation. They've also received a letter of support from the local council.
And mental health is a big thing for all of our community, so him coming forward and asking for some support with that is something we would do easily every day.
With many Australians facing challenges, the course is needed now more than ever.
Showing to support those that have been impacted by the drought or bushfires in the recent years, as well as sort of the loss of employment in this current coronavirus situation.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hills Golf Course has today welcomed the lifting of a handful of coronavirus restrictions. But even with the rules easing, the sport and its players have been relatively unhindered by the pandemic.
The worst situation Broken Hill Golf has been through during the COVID pandemic was a 2-day shutdown of the course in March. Since then, it's been thriving.
Getting a lot of new members through that were social members, the rejoining of old members, and a lot of old members coming back that haven't been here for a while, so it's fantastic. We couldn't ask for any more.
Today saw a couple of golf restrictions reduced even more, paving the way for increased activity on courses across New South Wales.
No longer needing to be a member, whether full or social, to play. You can come out as a social player. We're allowed to have 2 in a cart. We're just recording the details so we can track it in case of any mishaps.
Some rules remain in place though. Flag sticks and sand rakes still can't be handled and clubs can't be shared between players. James says despite the restrictions, a number of new members have signed up, saying locals of other sporting codes have been coming out.
No football or other sports coming back this year has been a huge boost. Just the talk that I hear from people that I know around there, they don't play golf, they're coming out to play, they're going to join up.
Competition golf has recommenced on the weekends, but you must be a full member to play around. Any skill level from amateur to professional can play in the comp, with different grades to suitability. For more information about golf memberships, contact the course office. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Port Augusta Racing Club is gearing up for its first meet of the year with patrons held this Saturday. With eased restrictions, they're able to host 1,000 guests in one of the most anticipated race days of the year.
It's the announcement the Racing Club wasn't expecting, but is relishing.
It's something that we didn't think was going to happen in 2020. We had really written off this year's season, and now to think we're going to have people on course is just fantastic.
Thoroughbred Racing SA thrilled to give the green light to Cup Day.
not only for the committee and the club, but for the Port Augusta community. It's just an amazing outcome, and I'm really glad for them that we've been able to have patrons back on track in time for their Cup Day.
But it won't be like any ordinary race meet, with certain measures put in place and a whole lot of organising ahead of the day.
A number of restrictions. Obviously there'll be social distancing on course on the day. There'll be plenty of hygiene stations. We are keeping the racing essential personnel separate to the general public.
The number of patrons is now limited to just under half its usual capacity, but they're confident it will still have the same great atmosphere.
The Port Augusta Cup is always really well patronised, so they can have a maximum of 1,000 people on course this Sunday. So I think it's going to be a really popular event.
And it will be first in best dressed, with tickets only available from Office National until Friday.
There will not be any tickets available at the gate on the day. Please make sure you purchase a ticket and come and enjoy a great day with us.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll take a look at the region's fuel prices with Pat, and we'll have the weather with Britt. Welcome back. Now time to see how things are shaping up when we head to the Bowser. Here's Patrick Reinke in Broken Hill with this week's Fuel Watch.
Well, South Australia's school holidays kick off next week, and as predicted, petrol prices across our regional centres have started to rise. Starting with unleaded, and everywhere with the exception of Adelaide is seeing red. The worst performer by a long way was Kadina, which saw a 7-cent spike in its average, going from $1.15 to $1.22, while the second worst off, climbing by 3 cents to now be paying $1.20 a litre. Port Lincoln and Port Augusta both went up by just a cent, $1.19 the price in those towns. Port Pirie is now the cheapest place in the Spencer Gulf to fill up, $1.15. Broken Hill motorists have experienced a small increase across the city. The past 7 days has seen the price jump to $1.25. As I said, Adelaide the only spot to see green, coming to the end of its cycle though, $1.10. Turning over to diesel now, and the 1st of July brings more price hikes. Everywhere is going up. Port Lincoln and Port Augusta again share the same price at $1.17. Whyalla is paying 2 cents more than that. Port Pirie and Kadina have seen 2-cent increases and are now paying $1.16. Broken Hill the most expensive on the board by a long way. Local drivers here paying $1.27. Adelaide doing okay, only ticking up to $1.13. Finishing off with a quick look at Autogas, and it's been relatively quiet. Whyalla the only township to see a drop in the price, the Steel City paying 91 cents a litre. Adelaide going up by 2 cents to 76. The rest of the board is holding steady. Port Lincoln 92 cents, Port Augusta and Kadina 89, Broken Hill 83, and Port Pirie is on 82. Now remember that these prices are the regional averages, and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do find a spot that does sell unleaded, auto gas or diesel for cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Now for a look at the rest of your week's weather, here's Britt Aylen.
Thanks, Louise. We saw warmer than average temperatures again today, with Port Augusta reaching the region's high of 24 degrees. Whyalla also recorded a top of 24, Broken Hill and Woodner 22, Port Pirie, Kadina and Cleve 21. It reached 19 at Port Lincoln today, 18 at Clare and 17 degrees at Coffin Bay. Taking a look at today's satellite images, and we can see cloud building across the south of South Australia, with a front and trough bringing showers and strong winds later. High jet stream cloud sat to our north today. Moving along to tomorrow, and there is a strong wind warning current for the west coast and the Spencer Gulf tomorrow, with the latter expecting north to northwesterly winds at 20 to 25 knots. Showers forecast at Port Lincoln tomorrow with a high of 15 degrees, Clare becoming cloudy and 14, Woodner a possible shower but otherwise partly cloudy with a top of 16. Partly cloudy at Whyalla, 17 tomorrow, Port Augusta fine and 18, a shower or two at Kadina tomorrow, 15 degrees. Port Pirie partly cloudy and 16, a shower or two at Clare with winds easing, a high of 12. Broken Hill mostly sunny and 16. To Friday, and we can expect showers about the west coast, lower Eyre Peninsula, mid-north and the York Peninsula, with a high of 19 degrees forecast for Port degrees and Whyalla. Woodna 17, Broken Hill, Port Pirie, Kadina and Port Lincoln all 16. And it's looking like a fine and partly cloudy start to the weekend, with maximum temperatures in the mid-teens on Saturday. And Sunday, fine and partly cloudy across the region, maximum sitting between 15 and 18 degrees. And finally, Louise, before I go, a reminder that there is a severe weather warning in place for the lower Eyre Peninsula, York Peninsula and mid-north this evening, as well as a strong wind warning for coastal areas. Do take care.
All right, thank you for that, Britt. And that's your local news for tonight. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We'll have updates later. Until then, have a lovely and safe evening. Good night.